But obviously for you guys, like coming off that shutout loss, to get a goal early and then keep going on it, and every time it seemed like they were getting one, you guys kept them down. That speaks to a lot of character.
Yeah, it was a good response. The nice part about where the team is getting to is that I didn't have to have any big meeting today. I didn't have to yell at them this morning or anything like that. Like we weren't poor last night. Utica was just better, and the guys knew it. And I fully expected our response to be extremely strong because the guys have now created a higher standard for themselves, right? So Laval's really good. I mean, they're the hottest team in the American Hockey League right now, and they never stop coming. They're so good offensively. They pressure the puck so hard. You never feel like a lead safe. So it was important that we kept tacking on goals.
Brandon Byro, one of your leaders, was out tonight. You have another leader step up with a massive performance in Brett Murray. What was it like to see him get that kind of winner?
I thought he was a beast tonight. I thought he was absolutely excellent. I thought he was good last night too, though. I just have so much, belief in who he is and what he's fighting to continue to become as a player. And he was great. Every time you put him on a line, you change a line around, he helps that line be better. That was a great response. I thought that whole line, though, that Neuchev was excellent tonight. I thought Tyson Jost, he's been really good the whole time here. That was his best game tonight. His competitive level was just so high. So that was awesome to see.
Was it awesome to see Jost first?
Yeah, he's been hungry for one. He's got good offensive timing, and he's had a lot of chances, and obviously he's had a lot of assists. And the first goal's been elusive, and it was really nice to see him get rewarded. It's always great to see too how the players react, and it shows you how they reacted on the bench, how they reacted in the locker room post game. Shows you that as a young rookie that didn't speak the language well when he showed up, has won the room over with his personality and his competitiveness.
Well, how do you communicate with him and Neuchev?
Their English is a lot. Novi's English on arrival was better than Neuchev's. Neuchev's was non-existent. But Novi, you could usually get through a couple points that you needed to get through. Early in the season with Novi, you wanted to, Pacher, because he runs the decor, would a lot of times follow up after a team meeting to make sure he understood the things we were covering. With Neutsch, I always grabbed him after a team meeting. If we covered something as a team in a team meeting, I would grab him and make sure he understood from a translation. I have Google Translate on my phone. I had to do it with Cooley last year. I had to do it with Kisa last year. When I watch video with Neutsch, or when Vinny does, the first couple months we had to use Google Translate to go over the clips to make sure he understood. I learned one Russian word, which is turnover. So I could yell at him in his native language when he turned it over. So that's something that he and I laugh about. Like now when we watch a clip, the comment comes up and now if he turns it over, I don't like it, I just spell it out in the Russian word. So he laughs every time I pull up one of those clips for him. But now Neuchev's English is a lot better. He's worked hard on it. And majority of the time now, he and I watched video the other day. I think I had to pull Google Translate out one time in the 12 clips that I showed him. So it's coming.
You're sitting there with him.
Yeah.
You're saying a question to him. Is he looking at Google Translate for the American version, or are you looking at the Russian?
I will type my question or say my question into the phone, shows up in Russian, he can read it, then he responds back to me. The hardest ones, we had a hard meeting with him 2 months ago about just raising daily standards and habits. And it wasn't abnormal to have that with a rookie. That's normal. But that one, because it was a little more difficult, I typed out 2 different pages on different topics and had it translated into Russian so he could read it in his native language. I actually think Kulik's game this weekend was awesome. I thought he played really good. He's lacking. I think coming out of the World Juniors, there's a lot of emotional fatigue and physical fatigue. I think his energy is coming back now because I think he had way more jump in his game this weekend, but he's fighting it a little offensively right now. He's forcing some things. I think he's second guessing some of his decisions. There's 3 plays tonight that he would have shot for sure that he's looking to pass because they haven't been going in as much lately. It'll come. Rosie and Cooley work too hard. They spend too much time on their game, and they're playing too well. I like the way they're playing, and these are good lessons to go through. How do you help your team win when you're not feeling it offensively? Those are things that you have to learn because in the NHL, that's what it's going to take. And Rosie's doing a great job in the penalty kill right now. Cooley went to the wall. Now he had to go back to center because Byro was out today. So these are good lessons to go through, and I have no doubt, shortly, whether that's Wednesday, next weekend, whatever, those guys will get back on the scoreboard.
You needed to change things with Byro out. Why Neuchef with that? Why that combination? Because it's totally different from the role he had last.
Well, yeah, yes. But I would say that we, when you're playing in Warren, guys, more energy guys, but I don't tell our fourth line players to not make plays. That's not how I coach. I expect all of our players. We're trying to develop all of our players. And so there might be listed as the fourth line, but we still expect Neuchef, when he's playing with those guys, to make plays and play the way that we want to play as an organization. So
I get that, but Murray and Joe's that same.
It's a different line.
It's a line that's got to produce.
And he's earned that. He's earned that with 2 months of practice habits, daily habits. I've said this before, I'll say it again. He is one of the first 3 or 4 guys here every day. He's in the shooting room early every day, and he's one of the last guys out of this room. He's putting in majority of practice days. He's probably here 8 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and working most of the time, not just hanging around and watching highlights. So he's earned that. And it was good to see him get rewarded with a promotion, and then it was good to see him take advantage of that promotion on the line.
It's a little bit bittersweet to see Cedar Chris get his first Gonzalo here.
I told him I fully expected him when the trade happened, that I fully expected that he'd score against us and that I'd have a little smile underneath when he did. Fortunately, we won. I'd probably smile less if it was a loss, but he's a great kid, and I root for all of my players throughout the rest of their careers, and I'll be rooting for him as well.
We'll get something like the veteran force when we start up like Norris, Jobs, and maybe the fire rated. But you got to say about how they really elevated this offense today.
Yeah, it was important. Again, as I mentioned earlier, like Laval is going to keep coming, and they're capable of scoring in bunches, and so you just don't feel like any game is out of reach with them. So to get the 5th one in the second period is separate a little again, and then they get it back to 5-3, and then to add the 6th one, then the 7th one, they're huge. And I like that the last 2 especially, we got through good defense. We played good, solid, hard defense. We forced turnovers, and then that got our transition going the other direction. And that was something we didn't do a good enough job of last night, of forcing turnovers. You can't play fast in transition if you don't force your opponent into turnovers, and we didn't do that well enough last night.
One last question for you. So even though Connor did it with 4 goals, and Ford is himself for 30 other points, he can punch, especially against the power play. Like, we got to take away from his performance and his performance overall with the team.
Combs has been great for us, great in play, great in presence and an attitude. I talked to him about Laval's style earlier, but no matter how much you talk about it, it's as a goalie, it's hard to totally replicate it until you're in it. Like they are whipping pucks from everywhere. They're throwing pucks from the side of the net. They got guys hanging on the backside. They play a different style. It's good hockey, and they're really well coached, but it is different than a lot of what you faced. And it's hard to feel that and replicate that until you're in it a little bit. Yeah, very similar.
Does anyone smile more than Noichef, by the way?
It's a good question. When he's playing the way he's playing and pointing as much as he's pointing, he probably should be smiling. So I don't know what he had tonight, 1-1 or whatever it was, but he could have had double that easy, which is great to see.